welcome back to Chow with Chow. I'm Katie, and today I'm super excited because we're making Hetal Vasavada's Gulab Jamun Bundt cake. Gulab Jamun is my favorite Indian dessert. It's basically a little fried dough ball that's like milky and soaked in a delicious syrup. But it's kind of hard to make at home. You have to make the little balls and then deep fry them. So I stumbled upon this recipe by Milk and Cardamom. I watched Hethal on MasterChef and she's awesome. And she has this gorgeous bundt cake that has rose petals and pistachios on top, and it's a Gulab Jamun Bundt cake. And I can't wait, I've never made it before, and we're gonna try it out today. Woo! So to start off, we have some milk powder and some flour. We're just gonna whisk this together, and the milk powder gives it a nice milky flavor that the Gulab Jamun is known for. All right, now in another bowl, we have some butter that's been sitting at room temperature. We also need some granulated sugar and cardamom. This is ground cardamom, it's gonna go right in there. And we're just gonna blend this up. After about 4 to 5 minutes, oh, look at how fluffy it is. It looks like vanilla whipped cream. It's like super fluffy and super light. We're just going to sprinkle in a little bit of salt and some vanilla extract. We're just gonna fold that in. I have 4 eggs and I'm beating them in one at a time until they're nice and combined. The wet ingredients are all combined and we just need to preheat the oven to 325. Now we are going to mix in our flour and our milk powder that we whisked together earlier. Let's do that nice and slowly. We want to just mix this until it's just combined so we don't have a really tough cake. Now for our bundt pan. This is a 7-cup bundt pan, and I think and I hope this batter will fit in here. And a trick I have is that just use your leftover butter wrappers and just kind of grease the inside of our pan. We want to make sure no part of it will stick. I've learned recently to not spray this with cooking spray because it'll mess up our bundt pan. So use some butter. That looks nice. Just make sure it's really combined at the bottom. If you watched us for our milk bar cake video, there was parts that were not mixed. So when you're making your cake, make sure everything's perfectly mixed. And then let's plop this batter down in there. This is pretty much a cardamom-spiced pound cake. So honestly, it's a perfect cake. It smells so good. Just gonna try to fill this tin in. We're just going to flatten this out because Hethal does that in her video. I'm just gonna try to follow along. Looks really good. I'm just cleaning up these edges a little bit because I don't want these little bits to burn. Oh, perfect timing. That looks nice. We're gonna bake this for about 35 to 40 minutes until it's nice and golden brown. Look how pretty it is. It smells so milky. I cannot wait to eat this. All right, see you later, cutie. While our cake's in the oven, we're going to get started on our syrup. So I have a cup of water going in a little saucepan with some sugar. And I have here 8 gorgeous green cardamom pods. We just want to smash them up just a little bit so they release some of their smells and their beautiful fragrance. Awesome, just open them up a little bit and we'll toss that in as well. We also want to add 1 whole cinnamon stick and some saffron. Saffron's kind of expensive and fancy. It has a really fragrant floral flavor because it does come from flowers. It's the stigma of a flower. And we're just going to let that hang out and make a beautiful syrup. We're just letting this simmer for a couple minutes so the spices can really get infused into the syrup. But I think that our cake is ready, so let's take a peek. Oh no! What's that? Gorgeous! Let me do the classic toothpick test. Comes out clean, awesome. Now we're just gonna let that sit for a minute while we finish up our syrup. You can see our syrup has started to get this gorgeous green and reddish color. I'm going to remove it off the heat now. And we have a little bit of rose water. A little goes a long way. That we'll just pop in there. and some freshly squeezed lime juice. Right in there. Oh, smells so good. I'm just ladling out our cardamom pods and our cinnamon. We want to keep the saffron in there because it'll give a gorgeous color and a little bit of pop to our glaze. Now all we have left is our syrup and our saffron threads that are so pretty. We're going to pour out just a 1/4 cup. It's still really hot, so be careful. Pour out a 1/4 cup of it and reserve that to the side, and later we'll make a glaze to go on top with that. And the rest of our syrup, we'll just go ahead and pour in. Ooh, yeah, oh, perfect. We have our cup of syrup here and our still very quite hot bundt cake. I'm just taking a little wooden skewer and I'm just going to poke holes all around it so when we pour that syrup on top, it can drizzle down in. Now, Gulab Jamun is my favorite Indian dessert, and there's a restaurant that Vincent and I used to always go to. That was all you can eat, and I would just go just for the Gulab Jamun and just shove my face full of Gulab Jamun. So I'm hoping this recipe is going to be similar enough to where I don't have to try frying my own Gulab Jamun at home, and this will be like just what I'm hoping for. All right, so I have all my little holes in there. Looks kind of scary. And this seems like a lot of syrup, but Hethal says that it'll absorb all into the cake, so no worries. And we just want to carefully pour this all over. Carefully, being a key word. Maybe I'll just go around this way. Oh, yeah, careful. That's what they said. Carefully. Now we want to go pretty slowly to let it absorb and then drizzle a little bit more. So pour, absorb, drizzle, pour, absorb, drizzle. And I did have a little taste of the syrup. So fragrant and gorgeous. We'll let that syrup soak in for a couple minutes and work on this glaze. So here is our reserved syrup that we had from earlier. I also put the pretty little saffron threads in there so it can show up in our glaze. And I have a little bit of powdered sugar. Just going to pour that in. Ooh. All right, so this is a little bit thick still. It's like melted white chocolate. I want it to be a little more pourable. And I did actually still have a little bit of syrup left over that kind of wouldn't fit. So I'm just going to drizzle a little bit more in there. And if your syrup was looking a little bit too thin, you could just add some more powdered sugar and even it out. Oh, that looks much better. Gorgeous. All right, now it's time for our unmolding. I have my cake pan here. I'm a little nervous because, well, I'm always nervous doing this, but also this cake was already pretty soft and fluffy, and then we shoved a bunch of holes in it, poked a bunch of holes in it, and then poured a ton of syrup. So I'm not sure how solid it will be or if it will just crumble apart. I guess we're about to find out. I'm just gonna try my best. So I think I'll go this way. Let's see if it's centered, more or less. And I'm thinking just like 3, 2, 1, pop it over. Ready? Okay, let's move all these breakables. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Pretty centered. Ready for the reveal? It's a little hot. Oh, it's kind of stuck. I can hear it. Oh, did you hear that? We got it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Dun da da da. Dun 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 da. That looks great. Oh, that butter did a great job keeping it from sticking. Oh, hello. Hello, bundt cake. He's a little poofy on the bottom because he rose a little. Now, Hetal's recipe uses a 10-cup bundt pan. Bundt pan. And today we use a 7-cup. So I'm wondering if that affects the poofiness. So if you wanted, I think you could use a 7 or a 10, whatever you have. And it might be a little flatter if you use a 10. All right, while it's still warm, we can go ahead and drizzle on our syrup and decorate it. And let's dig in. Now, while our cake is still warm, we're going to go ahead and ice it. I love the color of this icing from the saffron. All right, I think I'll just drizzle it on. I'm not really sure what the best technique is, ooh, that looks pretty. I'll do a little more and then let it kind of go around the down the sides. That looks very nice. It's almost like condensed milk, the texture. Let's do a little bit more. Now the cake is still hot, so it kind of melts as it touches the cake. Oh, and it's dripping down so slowly and luxuriously. Oh, oh, oh. I love seeing these threads of saffron in our frosting. So pretty. Now it looks a little bit like a glazed donut right now, where the glaze is kind of solidifying and pulling around the edges. I think I might have made it just a little bit thinner. But it still looks gorgeous. I like the way that it kind of falls around the sides. Very natural, the speckles of saffron. It looks so pretty. And I just have a couple of chopped pistachios here. And I just crumble them up and we're just going to drizzle them on the top of the cake while our glaze is still a little bit wet so it can stay on. And Hethal also uses rose petals, but I don't have rose petals, but this looks very nice. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and slice in while it's still warm. Give myself a nice, good slice. I actually went out and bought a bundt pan just for this, so it's my first bundt cake at home. Whoop. Oh, you can see the syrup has soaked in through the sides. Beautiful. Let me take a bite. Oh, our frosting. Don't want to waste any of that. Oh, the saffron flavor is great. That was a little sweet, but that was just frosting by itself. Let's dig in. Super cute. Yeah, you can see that our holes have allowed the syrup to soak in. Let's take a bite. It does taste like a gulab jamun. Okay. First of all, this cake is amazing. It's just like a soft, yum cardamom. I could even go for some more cardamom flavor in there. The cake is super moist. It's not falling apart at all. I was a little worried the texture would be like really crumbly because it was so wet. I could have probably poured all the syrup in there. That is really good. The frosting, I mean, that was a little sweet because I just ate it all by itself, but when it's drizzled on top, that glaze is just perfect. Just the right amount of sweetness. The cake itself isn't very sweet. And you can taste the cardamom. You can taste the cinnamon. The pistachios are a good crunch. Y'all, make this at home. I mean, it's not the same as a delicious fried gulab jamun ball at an Indian buffet that you can shove your face in. But it is quite close and it's hecka good. Check it out. I can't wait for y'all to try this at home. And thanks again to Milk and Cardamom for this recipe. Amazing! Thanks again for watching Chow with Chow. We'll see you next time.